Welcome everyone to the Lord of Mysteries novel summary series on Monolith. In the summary of the previous part, Klein visits his former university to withdraw from an interview formally, meets with former mentors, and learns about the fabricated news surrounding Welch's murder. Klein then suspects someone is following him, causing him to feel in danger, and considers seeking assistance from the Nighthawks or his colleagues for protection. Klein then took a horse-drawn carriage to go to Champagne Street instead of going to the company's location, because he was afraid that the other person would discover his intentions. After walking around for a while to distract the enemy, Klein got off the carriage and went to Red Moon Square, where St. Selena is centrally located. This cathedral is also the headquarters of the Church of the Evernight Goddess. As soon as he got off the carriage, the feeling of being followed continued to haunt Klein, causing him to panic. But Klein still tried to appear calm and entered the Gothic-style cathedral identical to similar cathedrals on Earth. Klein then went to the bishop's confession room and lined up like the other believers. When it was his turn, Klein quickly took out the badge of Unit 7 of the Special Operations Division and said he wanted to see Dunn Smith because someone was following him. After checking the badge from Klein, the bishop immediately told him to go to the end of the room's hallway. There was a hidden switch on the wall, and once inside, someone would guide the way. Then Klein quickly followed the instructions and found an underground passage. He also quickly received guidance from a pastor. While following the pastor, Roseanne's introduction echoed in Klein's head again, that Cheney's Gate was located at the intersection, and the left side of Cheney's Gate would lead to St. Selena. After leading Klein to the intersection, the pastor stopped to let him continue on his own. Seeing that, Klein quickly used the religious ritual of the Church of the Evernight Goddess to say goodbye to the pastor. However, Klein did not go to the Cheney's Gate because he knew that Dunn Smith had now changed the gatekeeper's shift with someone else, so based on his memory of the previous visit to the company, Klein went straight to the security company Blackthorn. Here he met Roseanne and asked her to let him in to find Dunn Smith because there was urgent business. Then when Klein came to Dunn Smith's office and reported everything, Dunn Smith did not appear too surprised by Klein's presence. The captain even knew that he had used the passage from St. Selena. Dunn Smith later said that Welch's father might have hired a detective in the Windy City to investigate his son's death. Maybe he doesn't believe the press releases. Besides, Dunn Smith also thought that there might be people or organizations targeting the Antigonus memoir, so they followed Klein. Before this incident, Klein asked what he needed to do. Dunn Smith's answer was to do whatever Klein liked, as long as he didn't do anything illegal. Although very surprised by the solution Dunn Smith offered, Klein could only accept and comply. Then said goodbye to Dunn Smith and went back to the previous underground path to return to St. Selena. After leaving the cathedral, Klein thought about why Dunn Smith told him to freely act without fear of anything. Then Klein realized that the stalker did not follow him into the cathedral, even though it was extremely easy to blend in with the group of believers. This means that the opponent may be afraid of the power of the churches or afraid of facing the bishops, or know that there are beyonders so they do not dare to get involved. So Klein can rest assured that he only dares to watch and not dare to take any action. Then Klein went straight to the shooting range, which was the Zootland Shooting Club established by the police department. However, to earn more money, the police have also set aside a space for people to practice, of course for a fee. Klein then entered the civilian area, where he showed the Unit 7 badge to the controller. After the inspection was completed, the controller led Klein to a training area reserved for the Special Operations Unit. Then Klein tried to practice with 30 regular bullets that he had received from Old Neil. The more Klein practiced, the more experience he gained. After a while, he gradually learned useful lessons for shooting, and the number of times he hit targets also increased. After Klein used up a total of 35 regular bullets, including Welch's 5 remaining bullets, Klein put 5 devil hunting bullets with intricately engraved patterns into the revolver. Next, Klein put the gun into the holster and walked out of the gym. As soon as he reached the main road, Klein felt the mysterious person continue to stare at him. But because he had practiced shooting, Klein was no longer too worried. Klein then took a carriage and went straight to his inn. Luckily no one was following him. Entering Klein's house, he saw a man similar in appearance to himself, but his face seemed older than his real age due to hard labor. That was his brother Benson. After greeting Benson warmly, Klein joked that his job as a lecturer was not going well, making Benson very worried. However, Klein immediately said that he had found a job with a very good salary, so the whole family would move together to a better place. Of course, Benson also agreed with this. He even said that after finishing the work, they would go to Tingen City's Housing Improvement Office to find a suitable location for their needs. Of course, before that, Benson will settle the rental contract with Frankie. Hearing that, Klein was very surprised because he thought he could just leave after paying this month's rent. But Benson explained that he had previously signed a 1-year rental contract to save costs, so now he needed to handle this very carefully so as not to incur any compensation. After that, Klein and Benson waited for Melissa to return home and then had a very happy and warm dinner together. Then when 11 p.m. came, they immediately went to bed. While daydreaming, Klein suddenly discovered that he had entered an illusory state as if he were in a dream. Just then Dunn Smith appeared and warned that an intruder had broken into Klein's room. What Klein needed to do was use a gun to force him to the hallway of the motel room, where Dunn Smith would deal with him. Then Klein woke up and carefully observed in the dark to discover a thin figure standing around Klein's desk area. After a fierce battle of thoughts, Klein overcame his panic, pulled out his gun, and pointed it at his opponent. Klein even acted calmly as if nothing was wrong and asked the other person to come with him to the hallway so they could easily communicate with each other. Of course, the skinny intruder couldn't refuse, because he was threatened by Klein's gun. As soon as the intruder opened Klein's room door and walked out into the hallway, a strong wind quickly appeared along with noisy noises. It was this commotion that woke up Benson and Melissa, who were in the next room. However, at this moment, a song with a melodious melody played, causing Benson and Melissa to both fall into a deep sleep. Even Klein felt that he was more or less affected by this ability. After Klein waited for about 10 minutes in a worried and restless mood, Dunn Smith finally appeared and announced that the intruder had been taken care of. Dunn Smith also explained that it took so long because breaking into his dreams was quite difficult. Klein then asked about the intruder's identity and was told by Dunn Smith that he was a member of the Secret Order. The Secret Order is an ancient organization founded in Epoch 4. This organization is closely related to the Antigonus manuscript of the Solomon Empire. The notebook was carelessly lost by a member of the Secret Order to the black market, from which Welch took possession of it. This means that after tonight's incident, if the Secret Order thinks that the Nighthawks own this notebook, they will take appropriate action. One is that they will not continue to search for the autograph book anymore because they are afraid of confronting the Nighthawks. Second, they will continue to hunt for the notebook if it is truly an extremely important item. So Dunn Smith also suggested to Klein that he should become a Beyonder to prevent the second situation from happening. But the more plausible reason is that Klein has made great achievements in helping the Nighthawks find the whereabouts of the Secret Order. Although very excited, Klein still tried to maintain calm and asked which type of sequence he would choose. In response to Klein's question, Dunn Smith said that there are a total of 3 types of sequence that the Church of the Evernight Goddess holds. Sleepless can be considered the beginning of sequence 9, so Dunn Smith did not forget to suggest that Klein should try in this position. Apart from the sleepless, the Church has 3 sequence 9 potion formulas. One of them is Mystery Prior, which is also the power Old Neil controls. Mystery Prior potion formula and the later sequences that aren't directly chained were obtained from the Moses ascetic order. Back then, it was said that they had yet to fall to corruption. They persisted in their morals and precepts, determined in their pursuit of knowledge. They kept their secrets strictly confidential. Anyone who entered the order would be barred from speaking for 5 years after becoming a Mystery Prior. They would learn to keep silent, to cultivate and enhance their focus. The maxim of the Moses ascetic order: do as you wish, but do not harm them. The Mystery Prior's ability is exactly what Klein wanted to find a way to return to Earth. But Klein was also curious to know more about the other 2 types of sequence. Of course, Dunn Smith was willing to give Klein a very detailed answer. The second type is called Corpse Collector. Quite several cultists who worship death in the southern continent choose it. After consuming the potion, unintelligent dead spirits would mistake them as one of their kind and not attack them. They would gain resistance to the cold, decay, and corrosiveness of cadaveric auras. They will be able to directly see a portion of evil spirits and see the characteristics and weaknesses of undead creatures, as well as gain certain attribute enhancements. The Church of the Goddess of Evernight has sequence 8 and sequence 7 that follow it. Sequence 7 spirit is medium, and this was chosen by Daly back then. However, when mentioning the third type of sequence 9 that the Church of the Evernight Goddess holds, Dunn Smith said that currently he only knows the name Seer, and the recipe is probably kept by the Church without revealing details. When he heard about Seer, Klein suddenly remembered the diary of Emperor Roselle, stating that if he had to choose again, he would choose between Apprentice, Marauder, and Seer. Trying to stay calm even though he was extremely excited, Klein asked Dunn Smith about Seer's ability. Of course, Dunn Smith did not hide his knowledge about Seer. There are many kinds of things involved: cartomancy, spiritual pendulums, and scrying. Of course, it does not mean that consuming the potion will immediately allow the user to grasp all of them. The potion only equips the user with the qualifications and ability to learn it. Upon hearing this, Klein began to wonder about choosing to become a seer or a mystery prior, because the seer seemed to delve deeper into mystical knowledge than the mystery prior. While Klein was still wondering, Dunsmith also warned that seer's limitation was that it could not be used to confront enemies directly. Because preparation for rituals takes time, and in actual combat, it is difficult to guarantee this. This information made Klein very confused because he did not know which sequence to choose that would both suit his true goal and help him fight against other forces. However, fortunately, Dunsmith did not ask Klein to answer immediately but gave him a second thought. Then Klein left with extremely confused emotions, because he had found a brighter path to get closer to his goal, but was wondering how to do it the right way. Not to mention the secret of the complete formula of the Holy Cathedral sequence 9 seer that Dunsmith mentioned. Klein can only guess that the Holy Cathedral is the center of the Church of the Evernight Goddess, commonly known as the Cathedral of Serenity. Then Klein returned home and suddenly dreamed about the memories of his parents on Earth. Then, while missing his family and old life, Klein also made a decision.